Let's talk more about shoplifting. I've been asking you today to get in touch, and my goodness me, you have been about shoplifting. I know there's lots of other big issues in the world. I know, we talked about Heathrow runway. You're welcome to call in on any of those big issues as well. But retail bosses say shoplifters who brazenly steal and attack shop workers are now out of control. They fear no consequences. Why? Because there are no consequences. I want to know what you would do to tackle this. And we've certainly seen the latest crime figures. They came out at 9:30 this morning for England and Wales, and they do show a clear increase in the number of shoplifting offences, up 23% in just a year. They say it's 493,000 offences last year. That doesn't touch the size. Most of the local shopkeepers I know in my local high street don't even bother reporting those crimes because they know the police aren't going to turn up and they're not going to do anything. It's a load of admin. Why even bother? Oh, by the way, you'll be surprised to learn offences involving knives or sharp instruments increased by 4% as well. I know, we're all surprised. Robbery up by 4%. And what a surprise. We have seen a small fall in the number of homicides and offences involving firearms. So, well done, everybody. Let's talk to Hamish Brown MBE. He's a retired Scotland Yard Detective Inspector and joins us now. Good morning to you, Hamish.
Good morning to you, Julia.
Thank you for joining us. I do think that most people who've thought about this for a nanosecond or even aware of it are just, frankly, fed up to the back teeth with shoplifters basically brazenly just wiping out a whole shelf of stock, walking out, not being challenged, nothing happens to them. Shopkeepers tearing their hair out because the police won't even turn up when they've got a video of it. They even know the ID of the person doing it. It's organised crime, a lot of it. What can we do to tackle it?
Well, I think there are two issues here. Quite rightly, you raised the shoplifting, but at the same time, and I think you've alluded to it, is violence in the workplace.
Yeah.
Now, shopkeepers deserve to be protected. There's no two ways about that. And with that, there are ordinary people like you and me who go shopping and pay for our goods. Yeah. And it's absolutely galling to see people walk past you, not paying at all, not being challenged and getting away with it. And if they are challenged, that's where the violence will come in. So therefore, I say when we couple both together, it is of paramount importance that the police do turn up because they're there to protect people, not, and they'll object to me saying this, not to condone stealing.
Yeah. Well, by not turning up, they're condoning stealing. By ever arresting the person who's trying to stop them, they're condoning stealing. But the police officers, it seems, often feel they've got their hands tied behind their back.
Oh, absolutely. They have competing demands. They have a difficult job, many commitments. And someone somewhere has decided a line has to be drawn. I personally think they got that wrong because we all deserve to be protected and the police should be out there. Now, there are different types of shoplifting. I think we should be mindful of this. Yes, there are those people who are desperately short of money and go and steal.
It's a tiny number.
Just to survive. However, and I've done a lot of court work since retirement, and one shoplifting after another is called acquisitive crime. That means people steal to sell and then support a habit like a drug habit.
They steal to order a lot. Genuinely, I've seen them literally videoing. They go in, local shop that, a chemist that's got a load of makeup brands. They literally stand across the street, and managers told me, pointed the people out. They stand across the street, they watch, they wait for them to put the product out. Well, they have to have the product out, they can't sell it otherwise. And they literally wait, and then 2 or 3 of them come in, sweep the shelves and run away with it. And there's nothing the police do.
Yes, I can well believe that because the commodities that are stolen, that this isn't baked beans and those sort of things. It's going to be the more high value goods. Steaks, actually, but very much so. I mean, they're pretty expensive.
Yeah, if someone offers you a cheap steak randomly, sort of they've probably stolen it. Probably not a good idea to buy it. But that's the thing. This stuff is being sold to people. People are buying it. There's a market for it. So there's an element where you can, try and tackle that side. But we know this isn't like, it's not like half the population's paying for stuff and the other half isn't. It's a tiny number of people in the big scheme of things carrying out a huge number of crimes. They do it all day, every day down the high street. The police largely know who they are. The shopkeepers know who they are. They close the doors. My little area, they literally lock the doors between a couple of hours a day because that's the peak shoplifting time. And we only let in people we recognise as customers. I mean, where are the police? This is easy to catch, easy to convict. They've got video footage of this stuff. Why aren't they doing that? And why, I asked that. I had my bag stolen. It was on camera. 1st of June last year. No one's been charged yet, and they've known his name and they've had a picture of him for the last 8 months. I mean, it's just madness.
Well, it doesn't really support the police when that sort of scenario is given, but time after time, people say, look, I've got the evidence, and the police come out of this badly, and they really need the public on their side. So I do urge a change of heart. But when I think back, most of my service was in the West End, and Oxford Street itself, there was an Oxford Street shoplifting unit for the police. Yeah. And the resources into this were huge. And I'd hear it come on the radio, one English-speaking adult shoplifter, which is relatively easy to deal with, until you dealt with a juvenile, a youth. Yeah. They couldn't speak English, therefore an interpreter comes in.
Yeah, and then it's massive. But they also do flash mobs. I've been around Oxford Street before, Oxford Regent Street, where there are huge numbers of staff, you know, high vis, you know, guys standing outside the shops, not even just the high-end ones. They're standing outside some of just the major, you know, regular high street stores most of us shop in. And they're saying, I said, what's going on? Oh, there's rumours of flash mobs of thieves coming. And you know, basically the police vans parked everywhere. Okay, everyone's prepared for that because there's rumours about it happening. But this is a huge cost to retailers as well. They're basically having to hire private security to stop, you know, being, you know, when we've seen these footage, you know, places like LA and San Francisco and New York. I mean, we need to just knock this stuff out straight away. What do you make of one of my suggestions from one of my callers earlier, that actually a little bit of public flogging wouldn't go amiss?
Well, perhaps that will come in if there's another during an election. But in the absence of that, maybe some sort of deterrent. I'm not going to blame the shops at all, because they put things on display which are easy to pick up, and they want to sell them. But
no, I don't think shops should have to put a tag on anything. I don't. They you know.
No, I agree. But if we're looking, I pay like just about everyone else for house insurance. You know, we all have to take some measures, whether we like it or not. So I think the shops as well, what preventive measures they can take. But the difficulty is, whatever is used, particularly if staff are involved, that cost is passed on to the consumer, the law-abiding consumer.
Exactly. As I say, these people are stealing not just from the shops, they are stealing from us as well. Really appreciate your comments there. Hamish Brown, retired Scotland Yard Detective Inspector.